Imagine a Shopify store owner just like you that was struggling to keep customers engaged and loyal on the actual website. But then they discovered these game-changing techniques that completely turn around their store, and it's a success story that could be your reality too. Today, I'm going to deep dive into 3 things that every Shopify store owner needs to be doing on their stores. We'll unveil the actual strategies that keep customers coming back, keep them in the actual store, and we'll explore these easy methods to boost that customer retention. And most importantly, we'll reveal the impact that this can have on your sales. So let's get started on this path. Now, I want to share the story of how we went from having website visitors bounce after 30 seconds or less.
I gotta go.
And having them actually engage on our site for over 2 minutes or more. So when we first launched this website, our analytics were pretty bad. So visitors would land on the homepage, they maybe scroll a bit, and then they would immediately leave. Bounce rate for this particular Shopify store was pretty high. It was at 60s, 70%. So we dug through the data to understand why people were actually bouncing so quickly. So it turns out that the average time on page was less than 20 seconds. And it was clear that we had a major website retention problem. So we called the team and we started to brainstorm some solutions. Now, our design lead was the first one to speak up, and he said, we need to capture their attention immediately when they land on the website. Use compelling images, stats, anything visually striking at the top of the page to get them curious to actually scroll more. Now, this is like way back in the beginning. So at the time, we were not even doing any sort of hero section within the homepage. And nowadays, a lot of people do a hero section. So now we actually have headlines and good images and compelling visuals. But at the time, it was just going straight into products. No headlines that pop, no visuals to break anything up. It was just a wall of just text about the company and products. So it was very much a mess. And it was no wonder that people were actually bouncing away from this Shopify store. Now, our design lead suggested creating actual mockups, right? Just to start somewhere. Create strong headlines, create relevant graphics, clear call to actions in the prime real estate space that we call now the hero section. So we developed a few options and tested them on our homepage. And sure enough, by adding that attention grabbing visual with a headline, with an image, and with a clear call to action, our bounce rate decreased by 22%. That tells us that people want to be sort of taken through a funnel when they first land on your website. They don't want to have too many options right at once. They want to see a clear message right away, and they want to see a clear call to action right away so they can keep navigating throughout your website. Hey, now if you're interested in us implementing some of these techniques and best practices that we're talking about, then you need to check the link below for the website VIP day where we build your store in 1 day. Now, after that, we were not done. Next up, our content team pointed how we had long just blocks of dense content and text without any real formatting or images to break up some of these things. So we needed to break up those big chunks of content and text and actually create subheaders, bullet points, add more images, anything to make it more scannable and digestible for the visitor. So what we did is we reformatted our primary content sections into 1, shorter paragraphs. The homepage doesn't need to have a lot of dense information. It just needs to have a summary, a bite-sized nugget of information about whatever it is that you want to portray right here within the homepage and talk about, about your company. So we also added relevant images and videos to actually reinforce key points about this brand. So this helped visitors consume the content instead of feeling overwhelmed by it and by the amount and denseness. Denseness? Is that a word?
Denseness.
Of it, right? Now, to further drive up engagement, we added offer upgrades. So things like free shipping in exchange for email. And that actually has done really well. And this is something that I recommend for everyone to have, not only on their homepage, but almost on every single page. And you'll see nowadays that Shopify does a good job, and all the Shopify themes, they do a good job of including that subscriber right there at the footer. Because usually if you have something in the footer, it's the same for every single page. Now what we did is we used Klaviyo opt-in forms to actually collect that visitor information. You can always use things like Shopify forms for free. So just a free app that allows you to have just a nice little pop-up to incentivize people to get that email address. The best thing about it is that we can obviously just market to these people at a later time. Plus it incentivizes the visitor to convert at least in some way or another, right? If they're not purchasing something, at least they're giving us their email address so we can market to them later and still provide value for them. Now, finally, we focused on driving visitors to more pages on our website. So we added custom recommended product sections pointing to related products, and we linked relevant content within the paragraph copy of the descriptions. So right within the homepage, obviously we have a lot of links linking to some of the other pages, but once they go from the homepage to, let's say, a collection pages, you need to ensure that you have that paragraph that describes what that collection of products is going to be. And then within that paragraph, actually linking to some other products, maybe some other collections, maybe the about page. That way you are sort of creating this web of links within your own website. So you're able to navigate the customer into what next step they need to go into. Now, results have been incredible. Average time on the page increased from the 20-second mark to 2.5 minutes. So it's actually incredible. Bounce rate decreased by 52%. So in summary, here are the 3 strategies that worked to transform our website's retention. Number 1, you want to grab attention above the fold with visuals and headlines. It's that hero section. Number 2, you want to break up any content into actual scannable sections with media and decreased amount of text. And number 3, you want to promote additional pages within your descriptions and within every single page. That related products section at the bottom of your usually product page, you want to have that throughout your website. Now, this journey took our website from a leaky bucket into an actual engaging experience. Now, like I always say, this is not the end all be all. So my recommendation is to check out this video next on Shopify Store's best practices for 2023. And these are best practices that you should be implementing today. I'll give you the how-to, the know-how, the actual tutorial on how to implement them. Check that out next.